Dennis Robinson, President and CEO of the New Jersey Sports and Exposition Authority, speaks at the 2009 Racing Congress in Las Vegas. He compares harness racing to other professional sports.
Professional sports stars have shelf life. They build an audience. They create fans. They drive stories. They create memories. I ask you, what do we do with our stars? Is what we do with our stars sustainable? Is what we do in the long-term best interest of the industry? My personal opinion is I think not.
Robinson stresses the importance of centralization.
First, number one, they have a legal organizational structure that centralized control over critical elements. The leagues control the season, the schedule, the championships, and even the game times. Scheduling control is absolutely vital to this sensible presentation of any product if it's to maximize its value as far as product distribution. In our case, a nationwide network of simulcasting internet wagering and major events. These are critical to our survival. Professional sports leagues have centralized control and serve two masters, basically. It's a very difficult balancing act for that matter. They're in charge of the sales and marketing of the brand, the overall brand, and two, they enforce the league's rules and regulations. So on the one hand, you're a service organization, and on the other hand, right, you're an enforcement body. It's a very difficult balance, but it's one that it's work and one that is critical.
He cites the NFL as a sports success story.
Other things that stand out in my mind. Talk about the big event. Given they're talking about controlling the schedule, controlling the amount of product, the NFL has one game per week. Every weekend is a big event. Okay? They control the amount of product in the marketplace and they make it a big event. They control their schedule and build toward what has become, of course, an international event. Their stars play for years. They aggregate, again, the intellectual property rights. They create competition for the rights. What do? We negotiate our deals all across the board. Very few of us are able to negotiate where we can actually receive a rights fee for our television, except for the few major brands. Everybody else has to pay for their time. If we aggregated our rights, you think we could make some money on that? Perhaps. And they use the power of their corporate partners to promote their game. One of my favorite commercials, as a former football player myself, that talks about this is that Under Armour commercial with Reggie Bush, where you hear that click clack of the spikes. You remember that? That was a classic ad. And of course, my son being a player, that resonated with the young people. But the fact of the matter is that commercial not only promoted Reggie Bush in Under Armour, but it promoted the National Football League as well.
He concludes with a story about the turning point in NFL history.
Are we willing to give up something now and potentially gain much into the future? Or should we simply resign ourselves to continue to watch our business slowly erode? As an example, this is a personal example of sacrificing the good of the whole, is one that's near and dear to my heart. And then in the 1940s and 50s, the National Football League had been around for many years, usually functioning in the shadow of college football, baseball, and they played their games in baseball stadiums and other sports, certainly secondary to horse racing and boxing. Almost by chance, the confidence of Brent brought the leagues to a seminal moment, and that was the famous 1958 Colts-Giants overtime game that actually thrilled the television audience. And then the league hired a brilliant marketing and PR man, Pete Rozelle, to become their commissioner. He was the first one in professional sports to understand that network television was beginning to see the profitable possibilities of more sports on television. He realized it was real-life, real-time drama. When the first major network television deal came along to the NFL owners, the biggest market owner of them all, the late Wellington Mara of the New York Giants, broke the position of the large city owners. Okay? Big brands, the little guy, he broke that and went on and said that the money should be shared equally. Wellington could see for the greater good of the sport, dividing the money equally, whether it was the New York market or Green Bay, was in all their best interests. That was the kind of leadership Wellington showed back then. The Mariners have been in the league since the beginning, they knew the league, and the value of their own franchise would grow and the league as a whole grew. Their $5,000 investment is probably worth close to $1 billion today. We can get there. Our individual needs can coexist with central authority. Larry Bird and Michael Jordan both got rich. The Celtics and Spurs prospered mightily, and the league grew enormously. Those things were not mutually exclusive. There's a market for our product. There's a glorious past and unique beauty in what we do, and I think there's a future in it. It's simply time, I believe out of necessity, for the Mariners to emerge and the egos to be put aside and for the cooperation and inclusiveness to triumph, because we must. Thank you very much.